Hello, everybody. My name is Aaron.
And my name is Mike.
Oh, it's going to be one of those shows, and I'm Jeff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to laugh because I heard, hello, everybody. My
Hello,
name is Aaron.
everybody.
It was
Aaron,
fantastic.
Aaron was using his radio voice.
Yes,
Like,
I
hello,
was.
everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the
Yeah.
smooth sounds of the Amp Golf podcast.
Ooh, yeah. A little yacht rock in the background. We're all set
Mhm.
to go, right? Hey, thanks for joining us and thanks for listening and watching. We appreciate all of you and we appreciate all our subscribers and everybody that's listening overseas, the UK, Germany, Taiwan, Japan, Zambia is back. We love you guys. We love you guys. So thanks for listening. And it's only 58 days to the Masters and the real golf season gets underway. It'll be the first major of the year and hopefully warm enough here.
I don't know. I think the real golf season is
Otherwise,
going. I mean, we're coming up
do you?
on we're coming up on the Phoenix Open.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
that's
this
a
is pretty
pretty big
big.
tournament.
you
Is this
know,
the
It's big
first
now.
elevated tournament of the year?
It's the first or second? Second? Might be the first. Might be the first.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. It's not the Waste Management. It's the WM Phoenix Open now, right?
Yeah.
And they're thrilled to have that designation of an elevated event. So they're looking forward to hopefully many years of that. However, the PGA Tour is not locked in anything past this year on what's going to be elevated and what's not. If it were me, they should probably add and subtract and just, well, they're not going to not continue it. I mean, right, with Liv doing what Liv did, that got them another $250 million to spread around, and everybody on the PGA Tour should be thankful for that. I don't know,
but the elevated events, right? I mean, I think if PGA is spending their money wisely, they're picking events like, I'm sorry, it's the Waste Management Open to me. WM still stands for Waste Management,
right?
But
sure.
But I get changing it around, but I think you got to have some stable.
I think this one is probably not a good call to change around because it draws in the largest crowd of any tournament in major golf. No other tournament, including majors, gets more people than the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Almost 1 million people go to
this year. It's going to be
year
bigger because the Super Bowl's there, 30 minutes away. So if everything ends on time and there's no playoff holes or extensions or weather delays, fans could leave there and get to the Super Bowl with plenty of time to spare and park and go in.
I'm sure there are several that are doing that.
Absolutely.
What a sports weekend, right?
Right.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Get at the 16th hole at 3 a.m. or whatever you got to get there to get a seat and just hang out at that hole all day and then head to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. You got to do it, right? I think if you're there, why wouldn't you try to do both? I would, once in a lifetime thing. Well, I don't know, kind of once in a lifetime thing. Here's the thing with the elevated events, though. Sponsors want the elevated events at their tournament because they want all the top players at their tournament so that they can get more money and draw more people. So, and I think there's going to be some angst among sponsors who don't get their events elevated or have the opportunity to host an elevated event either. As far as the players go, players should decide where they play, right? And hey, let's make this an elevated event. We want to play here. We want to play there. We want to do this. And each PGA Tour player gets to miss one elevated event and still be good, unless your name's Tiger Woods. So we shall see what happens there.
So the PGA is actually saying that they have to go to these elevated events. Like,
you have to attend the elevated events. You're allowed to miss one, I believe, is the rule. So.
Okay.
$20 million.
I mean, again, they probably didn't even need to implement that rule because most top names are going to be at these events because they have the highest purses. You know what I mean? So.
Right. And they have the highest purses because they all agreed that they would show up and play each other at these events. Right. So Rory got all kinds of shit because he's missed events. Well, he's allowed to miss events. And you can pick and choose which ones you're going to miss. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Anyway, 58 days till the Masters and about a week for the new Netflix series Full Swing. Did you guys get a chance to watch the little
preview?
Yeah,
I did a little bit.
What'd you think?
It was good. I mean, it was a good trailer. I'm ready for it to be out. I'm gonna be binge watching that show
Oh,
like
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I
Are they
wonder if they're
gonna?
going to dump it all at once or if they're just going to go weekly.
As
You were
I was
thinking the
gonna,
same
yeah,
thing.
same
Netflix
thing.
show, 50-50 chance.
Yeah, because I mean they dropped Wednesday all at once, which is a
Yep.
show I love to watch.
Yeah.
And but
Well,
then
if they
you know,
drop it all at once, we could all binge watch it together and then we could just report on it because that's God, it looks so good. And there's talk. I read a story that Rory was really instrumental in getting this going and just being brutally honest with it, which is going to piss off a lot of people because a lot of people don't like Rory. A lot of live golfers or live fans don't like Rory. A lot of PGA fans don't like Rory. He's not one of your favorites, Jeff. I know that, right? You don't dislike him, but you could.
yeah, I'm ambivalent about Rory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Apparently, he's very open and talks quite a bit in this, so we shall see what happens. So that's coming out next Wednesday. I'm not sure what time it is. Another news note, PXG, who started making clubs in 2011, 2012, 2012, I think.
Not been around very long, yeah.
Yep. They're entering the golf ball market.
Really?
About
They
time,
are.
I guess.
40
Yeah.
bucks a dozen for a 3-piece urethane covered. That's their marketing as a premium golf ball. And of course, the marketing is it delivers distance off the tee and control around the greens. They are making a claim that its 338 dimple pattern is going to help the ball hold its line in windy conditions. So for all of you that play in the Midwest in the summertime or springtime or fall, pretty much anytime, the wind's always blowing out here.
Wind
So
is always blowing.
It'll be
we shall see.
interesting. There's a website, I think it's called mygolfspy.com or something like that, where
yeah.
they test a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
Interested to see where this kind of falls in that testing because they put equipment through the ringer when they test, especially golf balls. They're really good stuff.
They're not doing, and I'm not taking anything away from like Rick Shields or whatever he does, right? Because he tests balls and he cuts them open, he does the thing. But who you're talking about are the My Golf Spy people. They'll put it on Iron Byron and have him hit 10,000 shots with the golf ball. Right. Instead of, here's 10 balls. I'm going to hit them from this distance, this distance, this distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's a little bit more of a comprehensive test that really can give you a sense of what's good for you. And they'll do it at different swing speeds and stuff to tell you how it performs at those swing speeds. So you can make a really good informed decision about what ball is best for you. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I subscribe to My Golf Spy, so I get their emails all the time. So
this is good stuff. I love hopping on there and just reading through.
Oh yeah, they're really good. They're really good. So in a shocking twist, I know it's just shocking. Live Golf has reported that they've generated virtually zero revenue during its first season. That's a claim its lawyers admitted to in U.S. federal court documents that were filed on Monday. So shocked, right? Everybody's shocked they made no money.
No.
I mean, why is this? I don't know. I guess it's news because I'm reporting on it.
Right? Yeah.
So if I was to say range goats to you, what would you think of?
Goats eating the grass on the range to keep it short.
Yeah, that's what I would think too.
Yeah, nope. That's the team formerly named the Niblets.
The range goats
is now the range.
That's worse. That is worse than the Niblets.
Yeah, that might be worse. That is worse. I agree with Aaron.
It's captained by Bubba's team. So, and if I was to say Ripper to you, what would that imply?
An Englishman who goes on a drunk bender. He went on a ripper.
I think of a Canadian guy asking if you want to go for a smoke. You want to go out for a rip there, bud?
Yeah. So the Punch Golf Club has changed the name of their team to Ripper Golf Club, captained by Cam Smith. So I thought they were going to work on, names and logos and things like that and really come up with something that was better. Apparently you can take 2 steps backwards. So range goat, I
bet Twitter's having a field day.
I mean, so this is my thought or my image of the Ripper logo. You see a guy bent over with a little puff of gas coming out his rear end. That's all I can think about when I heard it. So I know it's, it is what it is. It's childish. Yeah, it is. But farts are funny sometimes. So
Some of
anyway.
these Twitter comments are great. One of these says,
really?
Hey, Bubba, miss you on the real tour. My question on this team thing is, what's my motivation to watch these arbitrarily assembled groups of 4 players who have no connection to each other or anything else, yet call themselves teams with goofy names? Just play golf?
Yeah. They lit up on range goats too. For example, one person, the fried egg, tweeted back, "It's time to graze has to be the least motivational motto of all time."
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I didn't think the names could get worse, but hey, they proved me wrong yet again.
It takes professionals to achieve new levels.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, it's a name his son's going to remember. I think it's a name his son came up with, but hey, whatever. In the vein of growing the game, the TMRW, or Tomorrow Sports, that tech focused league that was started by Woods and McElroy.
Mm-hmm.
They keep throwing out little names of people that are signing up for this league. The latest to joins Max Homa and Billy Horschel. So that's 9 players committed to this league. So they have half of the 18 that are going to make up the 6 teams of 3 next year. So right now we got Woods, McElroy, JT, Rahm, Adam Scott, Colin Morikawa, Matt Fitzpatrick, Homa, Horschel, and they're really going to. I think they're going to bring something very interesting. If you want to grow the game, you need to get the younger kids, the younger people involved, right? Liv wasn't wrong, or some people in Liv weren't wrong when they said marketing towards us, the 55, 60-year-old guys isn't growing the game, because we are going to die eventually. But this league, which is going to be broadcast on primetime on Monday nights, 6 teams of 3 PGA Tour players in head-to-head match play. It's a tech-infused venue, so I'm not sure what the venue looks like. I haven't been able to find out a ton of information about it yet. So it's going to be data-rich, a virtual course combined with short game complex. They're going to have a fan experience built into that. So high-energy, greenside fan experience, every shot live within a 2-hour primetime televised match. And it's going to be 15 regular season Monday night matches, followed by a semifinals and a finals. Actually, for those that play on simulators and do stuff like that, this is probably right up their alley, and it's probably going to attract a lot of the younger crowd.
So if there's not at least one shot of a slow motion video of a golf ball being flattened by somebody's driver, I'm going to be grumpy.
Yeah,
that's just one of the coolest things to watch.
It is just watching it compress and then spring
that's
away.
A really good idea. I'm not sure that, I'm sure they've thought of lots of stuff. Maybe they haven't thought of that yet.
So is it going to be like they're hitting in a simulator, and then when it gets to them, like within like 100 yards, they then have like this artificial or like
it's like I think they're going to be played in stadiums, so they're going to set up the stadium where they have to do shots, things like this is just speculation, but if I remember what I read, it's going to be something like that. So yeah, I would imagine they're going to hit drives in the simulator and stuff like that, and then they're going to go out and hit it off of the Green Monster into Fenway Park or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because you can't. I mean, you can't. There's not enough room for Tiger Woods to hit a driver in Fenway.
No. Now, were you with me, Aaron, that one time where we were playing golf, and so we were playing with a couple random guys, and the guy kept going, "Oh, that's out of any ballpark in America," and I was like, "Dude, you could hit a wedge out of any ballpark in America. What are you talking about?"
You could hit your gap wedge.
This is someone who's never been to a baseball game before.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, have you ever seen? Do you know how long a football field is? It's only 100 yards.
Yeah.
Guess what you can do?
Yeah. Those numbers on the wall and deep center. Not yards or meters, dude.
That's
feet.
Yeah. So the lawsuit stuff's getting hot and heavy again between Liv and PGA Tour. Federal judge recently denied a request by Liv to expand its discovery on its antitrust lawsuit against the PGA Tour to include communication with 10 Augusta National members. This is the best part, including former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice and former PGA Tour Commissioner Tim Finchem. Now, if Condoleezza Rice wanted to say, "No, you're not talking to me," she probably has enough pull to make to sway whoever she wants, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, supposedly no, not if it's a court order and discovery, right? But a different discussion for probably a different podcast is there are two systems of that
Right.
going
Yes.
on.
So Liv is alleging that Rice and Arkansas banking executive Warren Stevens apparently attempted to influence the Justice Department to not investigate the PGA Tour.
Yeah, there we go. But so okay, help me out. I must have missed a connection. What is Condoleezza Rice's connection?
She's a member of Augusta.
To golf other than Augusta.
That's
right?
it. She's a member of Augusta.
Okay.
Yep,
that's it.
So U.S. Magistrate Susan Van Keulen said Liv's request is overly burdensome on the subpoenaed parties and not in proportion to the needs of litigation. Communication with the additional 10 members would have gone beyond what she described as agreed upon targets. The four agreed upon were Chairman Fred Ridley and Brian Roberts, CEO of Comcast, who owns Golf Channel, blah, blah, blah. So discovery has shown that the tour delivered these threats not only through its own executives and employees, but dispatching other influential persons on its behalf, Liv attorneys wrote in the filing. So judge said it's all highly speculative and not going to allow it. So
yeah, that's a fishing expedition, bit of a fishing expedition.
Right. So the PGA decided to get involved and they filed to set a new trial date. It was, if you guys remember correctly, scheduled for January of next year, 2024. Well, I think that they've asked for at least 6 more months, if not more time, because they think it could take several months or longer before PIF and its governor, Al Ramian, even begin producing discovery or choose to face the consequences of their non-compliance to that request for discovery. So they did request a 6-month extension and for the judge to vacate the current trial date with a new case management conference scheduled in approximately 3 months. So there's a lot of back and forth going on. I don't believe the PGA or a lot of people that are supporting the PGA believe that people involved in the PIF and directly involved in the ownership feel like they have to comply with anything the U.S. courts say. So,
I was going to say that's going to be the challenge is enforcing a court order out of a U.S. court on a Saudi banking.
Right. Here's a very interesting point that they made. They also referenced Phil Mickelson, who was an original plaintiff on a case, if you guys remember. Yes. And he withdrew from it. The tour's attorneys claim that Mickelson has failed to produce core responsive documents, such as those detailing his contract negotiations with Liv, communications with his agent, communications with the media regarding interviews in which he discussed his decision to leave the tour, and communication with his then sponsors following his decision to join Liv. So the tour, the claim says the tour cannot and should not be forced to defend against the antitrust claims without receiving any discovery from the people who created Liv in the first place and who continue to exercise control over every facet of Liv's business operations. By ignoring the reality that discovery from Liv's owners and decision makers is essential to resolving the antitrust claims. And they say they have to have it. So it'll be interesting to see what the ruling comes down to. Basically, my expectation is they'll give them the grant them the time and it'll be pushed further into 2024 before anything happens. So
I would have really thought PGA'd want to go the other way, but if Liv is slow walking discovery, then they haven't had time to organize that side of their case, so they would want an extension. But if I was the PGA, I'd rather hammer them hard and fast early. But if you don't have the evidence, you don't have it.
Right.
Yep. In other news on the other continents, Lee Westwood is facing DP World Tour in that legal hearing this week in London, where they sued him last year, if you remember, to allow them to play. So if the tour wins, it will be permitted to suspend what they're calling the rebels. So stupid. And ultimately stop them from qualifying for and playing in the Ryder Cup. And a lot of these guys, the Ryder Cup is life, right? So
yeah,
they've been playing in the Ryder Cup forever. So
can you imagine the change on the European side if they're not allowed to play in the Ryder Cup? Those guys on Liv. I mean, that's some pretty big names you're taking out of the Ryder Cup.
It's huge. It's huge. Lee was asked about, is it going to make you uncomfortable to go there? He goes, absolutely not. I've got nothing to feel uncomfortable about, so I'm happy to go in person. here's the thing. Apparently the judges or the magistrates or whatever it is that are working on this case are all independent contractors. They can kind of go and do what they want. So I wonder if that's going to hold any sway in their decision to say golfer should be an independent contractor and be able to play wherever he wants. Should be able to do whatever he wants as long as he meets your requirements.
Right.
So it's going to be very interesting. So there's 13 players that were sanctioned. And if you remember correctly, they were fined £100,000. So I don't know. We're going to see what happens. And Poulter was quoted in the Netflix documentary as I love the Ryder Cup. And if one day I get the opportunity to be Ryder Cup captain, I would absolutely love it. It would be devastating if that was taken away from me. And I think anybody that's played in the Ryder Cup would probably feel that way, wouldn't you? I mean, DJ, maybe not. DJ doesn't have anything to prove. He's 24 wins on tour, 2 majors. He's done very well in some Ryder Cups. And he's a chill dude. As a matter of fact, Spieth said when he was asked about, hey, who do you miss? He's like, DJ, he never caused any trouble. He's a hard worker. He had a lot of wins. He's a good dude, So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. There's a lot of stuff going on legally. We'll know some of it maybe the end of this week, maybe next week. I don't know how long it'll take him to decide what the verdict is in that case for the DP World Tour. But
I don't think you see it that soon.
Yeah.
Typically, those take a fair amount of time to write their, issue their finding. I don't know what the time frame is. It a European court?
Yep.
Yeah, then I have no clue what their guidelines are. But
yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Anyway, last week we had the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro Am. And if you go on any of the internet boards for Live or PGA, you're going to get all kinds of stories about it. While it was kind of a disaster weather-wise and things like that, and for people who didn't make the cut or, withdrew, Matt Fitzpatrick, for those that had him in his one and done. Others who had Victor Hovland did pretty okay. Jordan Spieth made the cut, did all right, right? But Justin Rose wins it. He ends a 4-year winless streak with a 3-shot win. And this there was a ton of delays here, so it was finished on Monday, and there was a lot of wind, a lot of weather, and pretty crazy stuff happening. So Rose completed his final round front 9 before play was called due to darkness on Sunday night, and then started Monday with a 2-shot lead at 15 under. And he cruised with 3 birdies over his final 9 to finish at 18 under to beat Brendan Todd and Brandon Wu, who finished tied for second at 15 under. So this win is and his play recently, because I thought he's been playing pretty good, really brings him into the Ryder Cup picture for Europe again, doesn't it?
Was he on the Ryder Cup for them last time?
I don't think he was on the last time.
I don't remember the last time he was on, but with this win, and if he continues to play well, you really got to think about putting him on that team, don't you?
Yeah, probably.
Here's the kicker. He on Tuesday went up to the Cobra guys, the Cobra Club guys, and said, "Hey, make me a set of clubs." And they're like, "Okay." So they made him a set of clubs, delivered the clubs to him Wednesday. He hit him on a range, went back to him and said, I don't like these shafts. Can you switch out the shafts? They did. He goes on to win with a brand new set of clubs. He hasn't played Cobra in years. I believe Cobra was his first manufacturer he had when he was really, really young. So, but he's been all over the place. And remember, I think last year, Aaron, we were talking about him representing Mizuno for a while.
Yeah.
Daddy played Titleist for a while too. But it was pretty good. So pretty good. Congratulations, Justin. I picked you a week too soon. That would have been
yes, you did.
That would have been a great win. So there's a lot of people complaining about the fans here and that they were non-existent at this event. Did you guys get to watch any of it?
No, but I mean, if the weather was bad,
yeah, so it's
probably not going to have very many.
It's early in the year. The Pacific is bitterly cold, and when the weather comes in, there's a saying in California: the coldest winter I ever spent was the spring I spent in San Francisco.
Right.
I mean, it's cold and wet, and if that was how the weather was, yeah, I imagine it was tough to be standing out there all day. I'm guessing because the weather was pretty bad.
Yeah. Green Bay's favorite quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, won the amateur portion of the competition. So
Yeah, there's a bit of a controversy about that one.
is
I
there?
mean, I
I didn't
mean,
hear this. Tell
oh
me.
yeah. So the pro golfer that came in second place, they interviewed him after he was the pro am team that came in second. And he goes, "What do you think about Aaron Rodgers?" And he goes, "His handicap's crap." He goes, He goes, he's a 3 handicap at his home course."
What
And
was
they
he
put him
playing
at
a of?
a 10. Now
Wow.
everybody gets a boost, right? All the
Sure.
amateurs get a bit of a boost for the course because it's different and the crowds, right? But like, so yeah, he's like, "Nah, we won. As far as I'm concerned, we won." His
Ooh,
handicap was,
interesting.
yeah, his handicap was
Hmm.
bullshit. Basically, that is not verbatim quote, but
Right.
Well,
Interesting.
we've talked about getting our handicaps and making sure that we can, be competitive and play other people, things like that. But you got
right,
to be true to your handicap too. You can't bullshit it, right? Otherwise, what's
right,
the point? Might as well
Right.
just go out and say, I'm a 15, I'm a 20, whatever it is,
right.
And shoot the best round of your life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every time. Isn't that
It's
amazing how that happens
crazy.
every time?
Every time.
And this is part of, and we could probably have this as a theme of one of our podcasts. This is why I don't play competitive golf, right? I see too many sandbaggers in local courses,
Yeah.
and
A
it
lot of
drives
cheaters.
me freaking nuts. It drives me nuts.
That's why I don't really care. Like when we go play a scramble, I don't really have any expectations. I'm just there to have fun and support
Yeah,
whatever it is that we're doing. But I
yeah,
know that 2 or 3 teams are going to be cheating, probably, and just doing whatever.
Anybody
yeah,
that's ever played in scramble is going to say, "Yep, those guys cheat. Those guys cheat. These
Yep.
guys, or
yeah.
this team brings in these 3 college golfers who are Division I golfers, for these schools.
Right,
So you're never going to
Yeah.
win.
right.
It
But anyway, I
happens all
mean,
the time.
so whether whether it was sour grapes or there's some validity to it, yeah, there was a little bit of a
Hmm.
call out on that Aaron
Interesting.
Rodgers win. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Anyway, you'd think it would be Brady cheating, not Rogers, right? Anyway,
No, that's you can't deflate a golf ball.
That's true.
There's got to be a way.
Used to
He
be able
put,
to do it because they had well, some of
yeah,
them had those old
the
liquidy
liquid.
core.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put cooking spray on the end of your driver so it
there you
doesn't
go.
spin.
Oh, I've played with people that have done that because they just couldn't cut the spin down.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm all for whatever's going to make you have fun. If you're not playing competitive golf, you're not playing for money, whatever, right? Just go out and have fun. I don't care
Yeah,
what you do. And
yeah,
Jeff, you're a really good example of that last year. Not cheating, right? That's Mary, but going
yeah.
out and play. Sorry, Mary, I couldn't. But playing a forward team
Yep.
because your game took basically you had 2 years off of not being able to play because of injuries. So
Right.
instead of frustrating yourself by playing, the whites or the blues or whatever, you moved up to play tees that
Yeah.
you could
Play from the
actually have
Reds.
more fun from. And
Right.
I think more people need to do that. And that stigma of, oh, you're playing from the women's tees or you're playing from the senior tees is bullshit. It's got to go away. Play
Just
from
the
the
forward
tees.
tees.
Play from the tees that make you have more fun or let you have more fun because they keep you out of trouble and you're using clubs that you're more comfortable with, things like that. So,
Right. And before
I don't have a
anybody
problem with
comments that I should put a skirt on and play from them, if you want me to, I'll do that. But you
that.
don't want to see that, and it'll take more therapy than you've got time for to get it out of your head. So I'm just saying.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Because he's got the
Yeah.
Scottish tradition there. Sorry. Anyway, the waste managers, the WMPO is the first $20 million event this year. It is, Aaron. So I was checking that out.
Okay.
And it's the first of consecutive events at 20 million because they're going to the Genesis Invitational in LA next week. That's also
That's right.
right. So $20 million purse means a big bump. Scotty Scheffler last year won $1.476 million for his first career PGA Tour win. This year's champ will earn $3.6 million. 3.6 million.
Yeah. So Fitzpatrick just laid such an egg last week for me. It kind of takes the wind out of your sails when you
Yeah,
finally get somebody that you get some decent money, and then you go back to picking people that decide not to perform that weekend. So.
Yeah, Rory's going to be there. Scotty's going to be there. Rahm's going to be there. Patrick Cantlay's going to be there. 8 of the top 10 in official world golf rankings, which is I'm just over OWGR at this point. I think it's bullshit. I think it needs to be redone. I think everybody needs to rethink it and have a say in how it happens. Anyway, let's not go there right now. But barring any playoffs or anything like that, they'll finish about, actually, they don't have as much time as I thought. They'll finish about 6 p.m. Eastern time, which is 4 p.m. local time. So it gives about 20 minutes before kickoff of the Super Bowl.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Maybe I don't know that pros would strategically miss the cut on purpose here. There's too much money at stake and a lot of OWGR points, even though it's bullshit. But Rory's going to be there. Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, Cantley, Schauffele, Morikawa, Jeff, who you can't pick again. JT. Oh no, you can pick Morikawa. You can't pick Matt Fitzpatrick.
Right.
Hovland, Finau's there, Homa's there, Kim's there, Sam Burns, Cam Young, Sungjae Im, Billy Horschel, Hideki Matsuyama, Keegan Bradley, Shane Lowry. Just the list goes on and on. Out of the top 50, there's a lot of really, really good players. So, who you guys got? What are your picks? Have you put any thought into this one? It's a big deal. This one.
I'm dartboarding it.
A little bit of thought.
A little bit of thought.
Who do you got, Dad? You go first.
No, I always.
You don't have. No, you don't. We always
go first.
No. You always go. Who you got? And then Jeff or I goes first.
Yeah. No, you go first.
I'm picking Max Homa.
That's a good pick.
I think it's a good pick
already. I mean, this is a golf course that I think really suits him. He doesn't have to. I mean, he hits it pretty far, but like he's not a crazy long hitter.
Right.
You haven't picked Homa? I thought you picked Homa.
Okay. Let me go. Cool. Nope. I have a list right in front of me. I do not have Homa yet.
All right.
I'm going to pick Xander Schauffele.
Ooh.
I thought about Xander Schauffele, but the dart
Xander plays well here.
Yeah, the dart I threw at the starting lineup landed on Colin Morikawa, so I'm going to go with him.
That's a good pick too. It was between that or Hideki for me, and
Hideki Matsuyama.
Yeah, it was one of those.
See, here's the thing with the elevated events. I have to try to be a little bit more strategic and pick somebody that I think is going to do really well or who really has a shot to win it, right?
Right.
That's such a big.
That's money, man.
That's a lot of money to overcome.
Yeah, these guys are going to. I mean, these are going to be taken a lot more seriously. That's a huge payout. I mean, huge.
So I like all three of those picks. I think all three of them have as good a chance as any of the others to win. So
right, and the thing about it is desire to have a Rory or a Jordan win a Master this year, right? You got to look at the elevated tournaments because a major this year. Sorry, if we're playing for top prize money, you got to look at these elevated events and burn your picks at the right time.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. I'm saving Rory and Rahm. Right?
I'm saving Rory, JT, Rahm. I mean, there's a few people that really want to win.
What are you saving JT for?
Probably the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I burned my Rahm pick on the right tournament too.
Yeah, you did. Absolutely.
Yeah, you 100% did.
Yeah. That was a great use of Rahm. So
got you the W.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't have Tony's pick yet, but I'll have it from him, and we'll go ahead and post it out here. But I'm sure he's been pretty good and pretty strategic as well. We've all whiffed a couple of times, but we're pretty tight in the money. I closed the gap a little bit with my $190,000 I get from Hovland. I thought he was going to do better, but I'll take it. So it's better than what'd you get? 18,000 for Spieth, I think, right around there, and nothing for Morikawa. So
Spieth
or not Morikawa.
Fitzpatrick.
It's
Matty
plus
P.
2.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Aaron, what's the name of that golf channel I told you to check out today that you said, "Oh my God, I just got done watching that"? Do you remember?
Oh, you were talking about Colin Rock. He's the guy that does all the filming for Good, and him and his dad they took a trip out to Pebble Beach and they played all those courses.
Spyglass Hill, Monterey,
Monterey, Torrey Pine.
Yeah, they're doing that. There's a reason for it, which they're not saying, but I'm assuming his dad is not doing so well or is sick or has something. But it's kind of the vibe I get off of why they're doing this because they might have to. Because they've talked about it for so long, and I think it's a great idea, but I think it's well done. It's filmed really well, and
it sucks though. They lost their bags. They lost their clubs. The airline lost them.
They sent them to Myrtle Beach instead of Monterey. It's MTY and MRY.
Completely opposite side of the country.
Well, like, come on.
Yeah, it's rough.
And
And
Good had issues with that when they went to England and they lost all the clubs and shit.
Well,
so.
and here's the thing. So MTY, MRY, right? So you look at the airport codes, you go, oh, those are close. It's not done by eye, it's done by a barcode. So
Right.
Yeah,
Somebody
messed up.
screwed up for sure.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Other happenings on YouTube. TXG Tour Experiences did a driver fitting with a mid handicap golfer, which is pretty interesting to watch. Older guy, stripes at about, I don't know, 205 yards worth of carry, pretty much down the middle every single time.
Yeah,
They were trying to get his carry up, and they were able to do that, get his carry up to about 212 and his total up to about 233, where his total was 230 before, or 220 before. So
That's great.
interesting. They put a bunch of different shafts in. They went to that auto flex shaft. Is it XXIO, the different club is, I don't remember the name of the club.
I'm not sure.
Something like that. They put him in a ping, like 420 or 425 or something. And
I like that driver.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch fittings because there's another place called Second Swing Golf where they talk about fitting high handicappers and should a high handicapper get fit. And they had a really good example. I thought this was something that people should pay attention to. They brought out 3 clubs. They brought out a blade, they brought out like a cavity back, and they brought out a really big
game improvement
iron. Improvement iron.
Yeah.
And they laid them next to each other. And look, you're gonna want to play these clubs. So let's fit you into one of these game improvement clubs that's going to help you, and you're going to have more fun.
That's what it comes down to. Again, the other part of the game, right? Moving up in tees, part of it, right? So get clubs that accommodate your swing style and your swing speed and your age and everything else. I mean,
my first set of golf clubs I bought in my late teens was from a pro shop with this old green leather bag that were blades that I had no business playing, but they were cheap. So, and nobody knew any differently back then. It was it was a long time ago. But now,
right after the Civil War.
I was gonna say back. I mean, you go back 30 years, and club technology is nowhere near it was now.
My shaft would break. I just go whittle a new one. So
most irons, back then they didn't have those big chunky, and if they did, they weren't anything great. But a lot of people were playing blades.
Right. Well, when you guys started playing there, you and your brother, I was specifically went and got game improvement irons in a set from Adams, as a matter of fact, I think.
Yep, Adams.
Because at the time they were just fantastic clubs for those that are just starting out. They're easy to hit, and they had a lot of weight behind them. So
and the materials were so different. I mean, we joke about wooden shafts, but I mean, back in the day they were a thing. But even when clubs were starting to become metal clubs, it was not the graphite composite, oversized cavity.
Yeah, they were like steel clubs.
But they were basically aluminum steel.
Yeah, a steel rod with another steel, thing at the bottom that you were hitting the ball with.
I'm gonna weld this butter knife to the end of this.
This pretty much
steel rod. Go ahead and hit it.
Cut some grooves in it and call it good.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Right? So I think it's really good for those that are struggling and thinking about getting into golf. Yeah, I don't have a problem with you getting fit, and I believe I've been saying that for a long time. Getting fit for clubs is going to, if you go to the right fitter, right, somebody that's going to take their time with you, they're going to fit your current game and what your game should work into over the next several years, 3 or 4 years. So you're not constantly every year going back in and going back in and going back in. They don't want to do that.
Right. And that's an important point that everybody keeps in mind. If you want to go get fit because you just want to get some new clubs and you're happy with your game where it's at, and you just maybe are looking for a little bit, but if you're looking to improve, look at where you're at and look at where you're going, right? And get clubs that last for a bit of that journey. Because Mike's point, you don't want to go get fitted every year and try to get new clubs. It gets
it's expensive. It can get really pricey, but if you get the right club fitter, they're going to work with you. They're not going to force you into something that they get paid to sell. They're going to put you into something that's good for your game, which is important. Wesley Bryan from the Bryan Bros, missed the cut at Pebble Beach by, I believe, one shot, Aaron. So his driving is definitely getting better. Hopefully it continues to get better. They just did a merchandise drop. I believe it's their first merch drop that they've ever done. So they announced it playing a little 3-hole match against each other. So check it out if you need some merch. Rick Shields in the United States, and he went to the PGA show down in Florida, and he spent some time with the Stacked Golf folks, John and Ash, who took him thrifting for golf clubs, and he lost his mind. He bought so many golf clubs, it was ridiculous. But he couldn't believe, some of the deals and things like that. If you need golf clubs and you have the wherewithal and you're not in Florida, go to Florida and spend a week driving around thrifting for golf clubs. You're going to find awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Right. You're
especially
not going to
this time of year.
Yeah, not here, right? Not in this part of the country. It doesn't work as well, but man, down there, South Carolina, further south on through Florida, and then again, probably I would think that you could do the same thing in California.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the video they did with him in it at the time, I believe, was trending to be the top one of the top 5 videos on YouTube at the moment.
Cool.
So they definitely went viral.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah, Rick was a good part of that. Rick's got over 2 million followers, so it was a nice boost for them. Good goods in Dubai, so start watching that. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming out on what's going on. They just released their flight over, and was it a 14-hour flight and like a 30-hour day total or something like that. So it looked very comfortable, though. It looked like they had big beds, TVs, and all kinds of stuff on a flight. I can't even imagine how much those plane tickets cost. But
if they flew Emirates, it's an amazing.
It's the next level.
Yeah. And Golficity, if you haven't watched them, 2 guys out of the New Jersey area, I believe, they built an affordable home simulator. Affordable means about $5,000 all in, and they're giving it away to a lucky viewer, or they have given it away to a lucky viewer. So for $5,000, you can get a pretty decent little simulator package that you can set up in a room in your house if you have high enough ceilings, so and enough room. Just
there's the rub.
Yeah. Hey, we could make high ceilings.
They'll be higher after we're done.
May not be pretty, but we can make it.
Well, so I wanted to go check this out. I think we might have missed this, unless they've done this before, because they have a 2-year-old video of them doing a golf simulator.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I thought it was like
we might have missed that by a little bit.
That's okay. It's still an affordable simulator.
Right.
I believe they're still making components for it, and the company's still in business. So if I did miss it, that's my fault. I apologize. I might have got my digs crossed on that one. I don't mind watching these guys. They're actually pretty fun to watch. They do a lot of best ball stuff, and they go all over New England and stuff. So they're fun to watch. They've pretty decent little following, and I want to say they're probably 70,000-80,000 people. So okay, the main reason we're here today, though, is with all these things going on. We had the NFL with the Pro Bowl, with skills and all these other fun stuff, and NHL just had their All-Star weekend.
They did.
Would you watch, if we could figure it out, if they could figure it out, some kind of a skills competition for golf? You don't have to limit it to PGA, but you could just, there's no limits here, but like a 2-day event or a 3-day event where, and this is my thought process when I first started, like first day, you could have this long drive competition, and maybe a trick shot exhibition thing, because trick shots are really fun. And maybe where they play horse with trick shots, doing trick shots, and knock each other out and have kind of a bracket. And then maybe a speed golf thing, where you have, 18 guys and guys, gals, whoever you want to do it, and speed golf, go, and winner. And then day 2 of some kind of a skills competition, skipping it over water onto a green, or hitting out of sand traps from different lengths or different distances, difficult lies, downhill, fluffy, all kinds of different things. Would you guys watch that?
So, I mean, something like this exists on YouTube already. Team TaylorMade does stuff like this with new releases, where they'll get their team together, like anyone who plays TaylorMade clubs, and they'll do demonstrations where they have a couple where it's like they have like different plates of glass, and it's like hit a stinger in every plate of glass, or hit the biggest cut you can hit, or hit the longest ball, stuff like that. I don't know that it would work over a multi-day thing. Like it kind of sounds like an exhibition almost, where like you have people coming out to watch a couple pros show off some skills. I'd watch it for a day. I don't know if I'd watch it for a weekend.
I'm with Aaron on that. I was thinking to myself, I'm pretty sure I would get bored of it, right? Like fairly quickly. Like I might tune in to catch an hour or two of it, or if something sounds cool, like they're doing a trick shot exhibition, I might tune in to watch that. But I don't know that golf lends itself to something like that necessarily. I don't like what they've done with the Pro Bowl. I'll be honest with you. I pretty much ignore sports when they break for like all-star stuff. Like baseball, I don't watch the home run derby. Hockey, I'll watch the game, but the result of the game is going to be 15-12, so it's not really a that good of a
I think the
hockey
game is unwatchable in hockey anymore, but I think the skills competition is still fun.
The speed skating and the shot velocity and stuff like that, I enjoy that, but like I don't know if it would have sustainability.
So like for sorry, really quick, for
ahead.
like TaylorMade. So I'm looking at some of their videos. Like they have one where it's like the flop wall, where they just have this giant wall and you just get closer and closer and closer to it, and the last person to get it over wins.
What if it was like a team event where you're getting the different tours together, or even the LPGA and the PGA players, 4-person teams where they have a 2-day best ball or better ball, whatever, something, and then and one of the days is all this fun stuff involved, in that. Just there's going to be downtime, right? And I'm trying to think of ways how they could fill the downtime up where it would be interesting to watch, especially if they're mic'd up. So, and they proved that they can mic people up because they've done it twice now. Max Homo was mic'd up in a tournament.
And Mike,
yes, exactly.
What was his name? He was mic'd up. I watched a little bit of that.
They were both like, yeah, this is easy enough. It's not hard to do.
Well, microphone technology, everything shrunk.
Oh yeah,
right. So they can do it. It almost looked to me like he had just earbuds in his ear. But I would watch the golf, even a mixed event where they were mic'd up and competing. I still don't know if you can convince me that I'd watch it the first time it happened.
I would
just to watch it.
This would be a good YouTube series where you can you could film the whole thing, and then release snippets of that over the course of a month, a couple times a week. They could release a new video of like, oh, here we have Justin Thomas, and he's going to show us how he hits these crazy shots or does these fun things or whatever.
Or Justin Thomas versus Lexi Thompson.
Right.
Or, skipping the ball and closest to the pin.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Closest to the pin has to hit has to touch the water at least one time.
Touch the water at least once, right?
They do a similar thing where the DP World Tour has one where they do like a 7-club challenge where it's a par 3 14 club challenge where it's a par 3 and you can only use one club in your bag one time. So you have to go through every single club in your bag, and then every time you hit the green, it's a point, and the person with the highest score at the end wins. So that's pretty fun to watch.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's fun to watch because they have to. I think it's if one person used, so like if you use an 8-iron and I use the pitching wedge, those clubs were then removed from both the bags. So then
next time you got to pick another club,
right? So then it gets down to like someone's using their putter or their driver on a par 3, and it just turns into shenanigans.
God, I would not want to use my actual gamer putter for something like that, right? I want to bring another putter because, God, I wouldn't want to break my putter. I love my putter.
Right.
Oh, this is playing against sports. I'm using this putter.
Yeah.
Cost me $2.
And this is where I think Liv is missing a boat. If you're going to name teams, and I always thought this was the way to go. If the PGA ever got into a team thing, let's have Team Titleist versus Team Ping versus Team Mizuno versus Team, just have the manufacturers have their own teams that they already have people signed up for it. Let's get them going,
Right.
I think I'm more likely as a fan to buy merch for Team Titleist or Team Mizuno than I am for
the goats.
Come on. I can see
Ripper.
You get the goats, with that beard, that little beard on that. Oh man, the goat merch.
There is already goat merch mocked up. I saw it, and it was literally just like a Billy Goat head silhouette, you know?
Why not?
Let's graze. Yeah, team, man, nothing pumps me up more than that. Let me tell you.
They didn't make any money last year. They don't have a ton of money for marketing. Sorry.
Okay,
Come on.
What, you got money to write $150 million checks, but you can't pay some marketer 85 grand to go out and produce shit for you?
Aaron, what did you find out about TPC Scottsdale, this course? Did you find anything out about it?
So again, I was once again surprised by how long this tournament has been going on in one form or the other.
88 years, right?
Yeah.
Is that what I saw?
Back in the 1930s. They took a break, and then the Phoenix Thunderbirds found some money, and they were the ones that kind of brought it back to the mainstream. In 1986, they built the stadium course. Actually, it's funny because the mayor of Phoenix, which has a great name, his name was Herb Drinkwater. He's the one that kind of put it all together. So he found
better than Herb Drink Vodka.
Well, mayor of a desert city.
Yeah, Herb Drinkwater. I thought that was pretty funny.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
So, they constructed the stadium course specifically for this event. It's one of the longest running continuous events on tour, brings in the biggest crowd of any event on tour. Last year, it was over 700,000 people for the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Biggest, drunkest crowd, right?
Biggest, drunkest crowd. It also has a crazy list of past winners.
All over the map.
Byron Nelson, Ben Hogan, Jimmy Demerit, Billy Casper, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus.
All the names.
I mean, everyone has anyone has won here. It's a crazy event. That's I think this is something that a lot of golf fans really look forward to every year.
And what they put together as a venue on that 16th hole is amazing.
It's insane.
It's amazing.
The Coliseum. Mm-hmm. I mean, you walk into an arena pretty much.
And it's really that hole's got to be, God, imagine the pressure on that hole. Everybody watching you, and if you shank, if something bad happens, you're going to get booed, right?
Yep.
But 17th hole is really where that tournament can be won or lost. That 17th hole is actually something pretty special too.
Well, you go off. So imagine you're setting yourself through the round, right? And you come to the 16th, and it's all of that, right? It's all of the 16th, and then you're like, go walk out of the 16th. Oh, I got to go play the 17th hole now.
17th drivable par 4, right? Isn't that what the 17 is?
17's got some trouble in it. Is that the one Thagala got into trouble with last year?
I think so.
Yeah. So where he hit it in the water, I believe. So it's a tough one. So Good was there last year right before or after this tournament, and they played that 16th hole, and that is not an easy hole. You get in the wrong spot in that green and you're in trouble. So
you're not putting it. You're putting a bunch of times.
Yep.
Now Harry Higgs and Joel Dahman last year, where they took the shirts off.
Yeah.
I love it. People gave him so much shit for that, but I'm like, hey, do it, man. Go for it,
And that's the place where the fans, if the kids are in the right spot, there's a ton of swag that gets handed out. A lot of gloves, a lot of balls, a lot of towels, a lot of stuff gets passed out on that hole.
Mm-hmm.
So
someday
that's
it'd be fun to go
hole. Mm-hmm. My wife's been to that tournament.
Cool.
Mary has been there.
We should put it on our list, and we should go to it.
Well,
2 years ago, I want to say.
Funny you should say that, because tee times. Now, granted, I couldn't find a single weekend tee time through May, and that was as far out as the calendar let me go. So there were no weekend tee times available at all. On a Tuesday at 7:40 a.m., we can go play the stadium course for $184 a person.
Not horrible.
Not horrible. That is not horrible.
Yep, I'd do it.
Yeah. Not horrible.
No, not a rich man, but I'd do it. I played a couple of nice courses in Mexico at $300 a pop, so it's worth it.
I think I almost paid that much to play at a Disney course, or not a Disney golf, kind of a Disney course in Celebration, Florida.
Oh,
it's $160 for a round. So I would pay $180 to go play TPC course, no problem.
Oh, yeah. Don't you have a date on a Pete Dye course coming up at some point?
Oh yeah.
Yes, we do.
That would be nice.
Oh,
yes, we do.
I hit one of the best drives of my life on that course, and hit a lot of really bad shots too. Because mercy, there's no good lies.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. So yeah, I spent a lot of time watching golf videos and swing improvement stuff. So I've
Is
picked a
this
few
where we're going to
things.
talk about when we said
Yeah,
before the podcast,
yeah,
you're going to
yeah,
set
yeah,
up your stuff and
yeah.
you're going to try something, but you don't want to talk about it until later.
Yeah, because I get so much shit for trying stuff, especially on the golf course, because there's no better place to do it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm
Middle of the round.
constantly tinkering with my swing.
He's you are the God. I wish I could eliminate blow up holes and blah 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 blah. I shouldn't have that double bogey. And in the next hole, it's like I'm gonna try a different grip this time, or I'm gonna do this instead.
Yeah. I'm not gonna do that on the course this year. So, and I'm gonna say it right now. So you guys will be able to call me out on any
Write it
podcast.
down, Aaron.
Hey, you said you were gonna do it, and you did. I'm not gonna try that. There's just a couple things I want to try this year, so I'm looking forward to it. Mr. Short Game has a video out that I found that's from about a year ago, Aaron, that I think you would find interesting. It's about rolling your arms and your wrists and that hinge, which causes for a right-handed player that big right miss. So something for you to look forward to and check out.
I think going over to a stronger grip. I think that's something that's also going to help me out this year because I was using a very weak grip, I guess. And now that I know the difference, hopefully that fixes it or helps a few things, not fixes, but helps a few things.
Yeah, it really helped me last year playing around with the grip in the garage and going like extreme on it, right? And just trying to swing and then coming back to normal. It helped a lot. So be interesting to see how Jeff plays this year after having kind of a full year last year behind him. So
yeah, I mean partial, but I was really having swing troubles, made some adjustments at the end of the year. I thought we're having some positive impacts on the swing.
Absolutely.
So, gonna set some preseason goals and go from there.
Awesome. Guys, got anything else before we wrap it up today?
Don't forget LPGA in 2 weeks. They're still on a break. They'll play in Thailand. So then we'll catch the ladies. Nana Kortsmadsen will be defending her title. Hopefully she'll be
20 in the world is going to be there, I believe. Almost all of them, right?
Yeah, so. They've had there was one tune up and then a big break. Everybody's going to be there. So.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah, awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys for joining us. Thanks for joining me on the podcast, guys. As always, I love doing it and I love having you on here. Next week we'll see if anybody's can separate themselves from the pack with a
Xander
$3+ million win. So
better win.
I keep separating myself from the pack the wrong direction, so I'm gonna work on it.
Still
pretty close.
Still really tight.
Especially with this elevated event,
elevated.
If we can all get in that top 10, the things are going to be.
It's gonna make some money that way.
Somebody's either gonna fall way off really fast or somebody's gonna get way ahead with a couple of lucky picks. So we'll see what happens. Thanks to all the listeners out there. If you're overseas and listening to us, hit us up at ampedgolf@gmail.com. You can check out our website as well. That is now up and running where you can find information. We'll continue to build that out and make it even better for everybody. And we'll get bios on there for all of us soon. And thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys.
Have a great week.
Bye, everybody.